I've been getting into a very dark place myself.
Have you?
Yeah. I feel I'm entering a very dangerous territory. I'm being sucked in and sort of spiraling out of control.
Oh my God.
Very dangerous place.
Oh my God. What are you doing?
Sudoku.
Sudoku?
Yeah, I'm an addict. Honestly, I'm like a gibbering Sudoku junkie.
Yeah.
I'm a 20 puzzle a day man.
But surely isn't Sudoku that sort of intellectually challenging number game, you know, where you fill in a grid with numbers 1 to 9, you know, then you're not allowed to repeat any of them in either any row or column in that grid or any of the grids around it?
I was just colouring the squares with a crayon.
Hello and welcome to Thursday's edition of Cracking the Cryptic, where I hope you enjoyed that blast from the past there. That's, of course, Mel Smith and Griff Rhys-Jones. And thanks very much, by the way, to Brendan Roycroft, who found that clip from the BBC archives. Absolutely brilliant stuff. And apparently Mark is the Mel Smith character and I'm the Griff Rhys-Jones character who just likes colouring my Sudokus in. I'll take that. That's fine. Oh, and thanks also to Sven. You may have seen that little GIF during the introduction today, which showed the creation of today's puzzle, which is called Turquoise by Bellsita. In our software, so that thing flickering through was how the puzzle gets created. So this is something that Sven's added in to help Mark and I out. It's really, really clever stuff. And yeah, do remember that you can always get hold of our software, our Sudoku software, at all good bookshops. No, I'm just kidding. At all good Sudoku. Well, no, all good app stores and even Steam. You can get it there. Just search out Sven's Sudoku pad, of course. Now, what do I need to tell you about today? Well, let's start off with this puzzle, Turquoise. It's got a whopping great rating on Logic Masters Germany, and Bellsita, I believe, hails from Brazil and asked for a shout out for the country of Brazil, which I'm very happy to do. What a wonderful place. Yeah, so this puzzle has been garnering lots and lots of plaudits. We've had it recommended to us several times as well, so we shall see what it's all about. These blue lines today are region sum lines, which is a new rule set that I'm a big fan of. Now I've got some birthdays to do today as well. So Charlotte, it's your birthday, and I know this because your wife Natalie wrote to us and told us that amongst other things, you've recently taken up scuba diving and have even been known to test your ability to solve logic problems 40 meters below the surface of the sea. Well, rather you than me, but that's very cool indeed. I hope today is a more mundane day, just filled with chocolate cake. Diana, it's your birthday today as well, and I know this because your wife Evelyn wrote to us, and the two of you got married back on January the 20th, and we have a quick picture of you both there. Apparently the day went off without a hitch, so to speak, and You both wound down later that day by doing a quiet Sudoku, which is brilliant to hear. Never give up your Sudokus, even on your wedding day. I think you're down there in New Zealand, if I'm not mistaken. And then finally, Dustin, your wife Ariane wrote to us over there in Finland, and I think Ariane herself is turning the big 3-0 in just 2 or 3 days' time. But then, well, Dustin, I hope you have a great day today, but Ariane did then ruin the email somewhat by telling me that you're both going to something called the Kaku buffet later, which is an all-you-can-eat cake buffet, and you're going to have chocolate cake in my honour there. Well, I should really have been invited to that, an all-you-can-eat cake buffet. Good grief. Such a thing does not exist in the UK. I am very, very sorry to tell you. Now next, we have drawn the winner of the Glum Hippo plushie. Now, This is going to cause consternation in the Sudoku universe when I read out the name of the winner, because so many of you have been wanting to win this plushie. So let's have a drum roll, please. I will tell you the winner is in America. The winner is in Minnesota. And the winner is Caitlin Bond. Congratulations, Caitlin. There will be lots of Sudokuists sticking pins into voodoo dolls with your name on, I'm afraid. But you have won the plushie, and I shall be in touch later on to ask where we should deliver it to. Congratulations. Absolutely brilliant stuff. And the following solvers solved the whole hunt, but didn't win the plushie. Teddy Lee, Marshall Anderson, Meandering Emu, Steve Tradigio. You can't make me laugh when I'm reading the names. Meandering Emu. That's very annoying. Very naughty of you. John Lottes, Oliver Sporandio, Michael Eschbacher, Abhinav Jain, Christopher Kirilli, Tammy Holdren, Alexander Herges, Andrew Yakovenko, Nathan Hines, Michael Stranieri, Keaton Hancock, Mad Doc Stew, Antoine Quay Laborde, and Marcus Zockel. Very well done, all of you. Fantastic work. And as Mark has been mentioning, we are sort of gearing up for next month's Sudoku hunt as well. Don't worry, we have more on the way, this time courtesy of Panthera, and I'll tell you more about that tomorrow. But let's have a look at Turquoise by Bellsita and see what we've got all the way from Brazil today. These are the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Digits along a blue line sum to the same value in each 3x3 box the line passes through. Different lines may have different sums, and then there is an example which says, e.g., row 1 column 2 plus row 2 column 2 plus row 3 column 2, so those three cells sum up to the same value as row 4 column 3, row 5 column 3, row 6 column 3. I'm just checking in my as I do this that it's what I expect it to be, and those three digits there also sum up to the same as those three digits. So along this line, if this added up to 20, this would have to add up to 20, and this would have to add up to 20. That is how equal sum lines work, or region sum lines work. And then we've got cells separated by a black dot contain digits in a 1:2 ratio, i.e. one digit must be double the other. So we've got a few of those sprinkled around. So if this square here was a 3, this square here would have to be a 6, not a 1.5, because 1.5 is not a Sudoku digit. And then cells separated by a white dot must contain consecutive digits. So if this was a 1, this would have to be a 2 to be consecutive with it. And not all dots are given, which means that it's perfectly possible, for example, for that square to be a 2, because although one of these digits is double the other, so they would qualify for a black dot, the constructor has decided not to give us a black dot there, and that is perfectly appropriate. Not all dots are given. Do have a go at the puzzle. Let's the way to play. What's going on with my brain? The way to play is to click the link under the video as usual. Now I get to play. Let's get cracking. Now, I suspect the trickery here is going to be around the long region sum lines, but actually my eyes are drawn my eyes are drawn to the low-hanging fruit first, and that I think might be here and maybe even there. Not sure about there, but here we can say something about this domino and this domino, because there are only certain digits that can go on black dots, and that's because some digits like 5, 7 and 9 don't work, because there's no Sudoku digit that is double or half of those digits. If we try 5, 2.5 and 10 don't work. 7, 3.5 and 14 don't work. So the digits that we can put on black dots are the digits 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 and 8. But there's a bit of a constraint where you get a sequence of black dots, and basically what you'll find if you examine this is that the central digit here always has to be a 2 or a 4. There always has to be a 2 and a 4 on the sequence, and the sequence will either be 1, 2, 4, which could be in either direction, or 248, which again could be in either direction. But the central digit always ends up being a 2 or a 4. I suppose a different way of thinking about that would be to say, well, could you put, in terms of the panoply of digits that can go on black dots, which don't include 5, 7 and 9, can you put 3 or 6 on? And the answer to that is basically no, because if you put 3 or 6 on, the problem is the second digit becomes impossible, because 3, 6, what do we put here? We'd have to put another 3, and that'll break the rules of Sudoku. So the only digits that work are 1, 2, 4 and 8, and we must include 2 and 4 in the sequence. And the only problem with that is that, well, not the only problem, but a problem with that is it doesn't do anything. Okay, alright, let's try these white dots then. And the reason these catch my eye is that obviously this is a consecutive sequence of 3 digits now. So we can't put 1 and 2 on this sequence anymore, because we'd need a 3 if we did. And 3 is not available. So these digits are from 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9. And whichever slice of 3 consecutive digits we take from 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9, there must in fact therefore be a 7 on this string. Which is very interesting. That digit's got to be 6, 7 or 8. Is this actually interesting, or is it not? I think it's probably not, actually, I'm afraid. Although that digit has become restricted. Let's change tack. Let's have a look at some region sum lines, because this region sum line is interesting. Because what we're saying here is that this digit, whatever it is, this is the only time this line visits box 5. So that digit has to be the same as the sum of those 3 digits. Now, yeah, this has got to be 8 or 9 then. And that's because it can't be 1, 2 and 4 adding up to 7 because of the 7 on the white dot. So that white dot wasn't totally useless. If this is 8, this is a 1, 3 pair. If this is 9, it's a 2, 3 pair. So there is definitely a 3, look, on this, well, in one of those 2 positions, which I actually don't think does very much. It looks like it's trying to, doesn't it? But okay, that digit is also 6, 8 or 9, because it needs to sum those 3 cells together, and obviously if we put 1 and 2 into those squares we would get to 6. But yeah, okay, we can do better than this. This is all getting quite constrained in box 5. Because one way this sequence cannot work now is with an 8 in its centre. Because if this was a 7, 8, 9 triple, that cell would have no value at all. So that means that that's not an 8 in the centre, which means we're down to 6s and 7s, which now means there has to be a 6 on the sequence, because we're either looking at 5, 6, 7, or we're looking at 6, 7, 8. And that means that square is not a 6, so I've got an 8, 9 pair. Oh, that's lovely. It actually sorts it, doesn't it? Because now 8 can't be on this sequence, so this sequence is 5, 6, 7, which means that the central digit is a 6, because it's the middle of the sequence. And these squares have got to be 1, 2, 3 and 4. And that means, come on brain, think about what that means. It means that, yeah, it does mean something. That digit has to be very high now. It's either 8 or 9. And that's because it can't be 5, 6 or 7. And yet in the sum of this line, we're adding at least a 5 to at least a 1. So those 2 digits add up to at least 6. But this cell cannot be 6 and it cannot be 7. So that is 8 or 9. these two cells, if this is an 8, we need a 1-4 pair, which would have to be that way round. If this is a 9, we're looking at 1, 3, 5 or 2, 3, 4. So if it's 1, 3, 5, the 5 hides here. If it's 2, 3, 4, this square's a 2. Because the 4 gets pushed over here. So in this column, oh I see, we can't quite do it. We've got 1s, 2s, 8s and 9s to place, and they live in those squares, which I am prepared to pencil mark that actually. I could easily, when I'm scanning, miss the fact there's a 5, 6, 7 triple as I'm looking at this column. So, well, that's really weird. Okay, so these 3 columns have actually done a lot more than I was expecting. I thought we were going to get very little done in these columns because I figured out that it must be to do with the long lines. Let's have a think about the long lines then. What are we saying here? So we're saying those 3 digits, whatever they are, add to the same as those digits. Now, do I use a different colour or the same colour? Let's use the same colour. And they add up to the same as those 3 digits. It's so... I mean, it doesn't... It looks like... I've seen these sorts of lines before, but more normally in Renban puzzles, where they sort of force roping. But here it doesn't quite work the same way, does it? Because if these added up to, I don't know, 18... then they could be, that 18 total could be done in a variety of ways, and this would have to add up to 18, but that could be done in different ways. So yeah, so you don't really get roping at all. You get roping by reference. I was about to say you get roping by reference to totals, but I don't think that works either. Those digits, actually I don't want to, I'll make those yellow. Well, they have to have the same sum. There's sort of a hidden blue line, isn't there, between those 6 cells? Because if we're saying that blue, that those 3 digits add to the same as those, and those add to the same as those, then by the sort of mathematics of the fact that that box is total, the sum of all the digits in that box will obviously be the same as all the digits in that box, we can see that the rump of digits left over that are not green and blue must have the same total in boxes 3 and 6. But then... No, okay, that's really weird. That's really weird. Because I was about to say, what I want to do here is to make those blue, just from a Sudoku point of view. But the weird thing is that what I can actually do is make them blue, from a sort of logical perspective, which is really strange. The reason is, I know that... Let's talk about this in terms of the secret. So the secret is something I only tell my favourite people, but of course I'm going to share that with you. The secret is that any complete box of a Sudoku contains the digits 1 to 9 once each because of the rules of Sudoku. Now if you add up the digits 1 to 9, you get 45. So I know that that box adds to 45. But I know its makeup, if you like, is yellow plus green plus blue. But it's the same secret that applies to any column of a Sudoku. That column contains the digits 1 to 9. That column sums to 45, but that column is made up of yellow and green, and something at the bottom. So let's not make it blue yet. But yellow plus green, we know is the same as that. It's the same as that, and we know that to get to 45, once you add yellow and green together, you have to add blue because that's what box 3 tells us. So in column 7, that must be the same. This must be blue. And now this box requires that. Oh, so now it's totally broken. Well, it's not broken, but now I've got yellow down here, because by the logic of these boxes, which tell us that green plus blue plus yellow equals 45, the same must be true there. But now in this column, we've learnt that yellow equals green, I think. Because I've got 2 yellow plus blue also equal. So if I've got 2 yellow plus blue equals 45, but 1 yellow plus blue plus green equals 45, then green equals yellow is what we've just found out. Green equals yellow. Does that surprise me? Green equals yellow. So, that's beautiful. That is so beautiful. Wow. Okay. So now I know what this line is. Goodness me. That's gorgeous. That is gorgeous, because we can just use parity on this column. What do I mean by use parity? Well, I don't know what the total of yellow is. Well, I'm actually going to be able to work it out in a minute, but off the top of my head, I don't know what it is. But I do know that I can express this column as the sum of 2 lots of yellow plus blue. Well, 2 lots of yellow, whatever the total for yellow is, 2 lots of it is an even number. But I know the column sums to 45, which is an odd number. So the only way this can work is if blue sums to an odd number. Well, if that was the 248 variation of black dots, it would sum to an even number, and the total of that column would be even, and 45 would be even, and 45 is not even. There is a knowledge bomb for you, courtesy of Cracking the Cryptic. So this is 124, and that means the middle digit is a 2, and now we have some sort of traction. 1 4. All right, we might. Well, I was about to say, all right, it might not do anything, but it does do something, doesn't it? Because there is only one way of making 3 different Sudoku digits add up to 7. So each of these now has to be a 1 2 4 triple. There is no latitude in that. So what's that digit? That's got to be an 8, because it's a black dot digit, and it can't be 1 2 or 4, because it would then repeat. So that's a 4. That means that this digit is a 3, because it has to be consecutive with a 1 or a 2 without repeating 1 or 2. So that digit's 3, which means that digit's 2. This digit's 1. Here we go. Here we go. We're off to the races. 4 comes out of this square. Maverick has just taken off. Good grief. Maverick's been making more appearances in recent days. I thought he was grounded, but alas no. He's obviously finished his promotional tour for the movie, and now he's returned to Surrey. That's most unfortunate. Right, so can we do mathematics now on this box? So blue adds up to 7. So these 6 cells add up to 38. Now, do we know? Yes, we do know. God, Maverick is actually low flying over the house. Remember, we worked out that yellow and green were the same number. That's right. Yellow and green are the same number, because yellow and green plus blue add up to 45, and double yellow plus blue adds up to 45. So if yellow and green are the same number and they add up to 38, then yellow individually adds up to 19, and green individually adds up to 19. And if green individually adds up to 19 with a 3 as one of its numbers, the other digits are 7 and 9. So that's how that works. 5, 6 and 8 go in here. These squares are 3, 7 and 9. This is really weird, because it just doesn't. Well, it does. No, it does rope now, just not within its region. Some lines. Oh, this is so strange. 3, 7, 9, 3, 7, 9. So that's 3. So that there is roping now. 5 and 6 at the top. 5, 6 and 8 here. That square's not 6. Oh, 8. sees that square. That's a 9 by Sudoku. So now we can get rid of 9s from my excessive pencil marking. That's not 9. These two digits have to add up to 9, so that can't be a 3 anymore, because that would need a 6 on its in this square here. And for our next deduction, well, obviously I'm going to try all this trickery over on this side of the grid. Just let me see if I can do anything simple first. And the answer is, well, I probably can, I'm just not seeing how to do it. Right. So, okay. Now on this side, I don't think we're going to be in such potent territory, because the dots down here have a multitude of values. Down here, we knew there were only 2 possible totals. On this side, it's very different, because, well, that digit's at least a 4, isn't it? So it's got it's got a wealth of options. It can't be 1 because you'd have to surround it on both sides, but with 2, and it can't be 2 or 3 by Sudoku. I'm trying to think about, do I know anything arithmetic about strings of white dots? I do know that a string of white dots, of length 3, like this, sums to a number divisible by 3. The way to think about that, to prove that to yourself, is to define the middle value as x. Now if that's x, we know this is x plus 1, say, or x minus 1, but it doesn't matter. Let's say it's x plus 1. If that's x plus 1, that will be x minus 1. So the sum of those 3 digits together must be 3x, and 3x is divisible by 3. But anyway, let's just see what happens. I think we're going to get an absolutely analogous position here. Now this is the crucial question. What colour do we make this? We'll make this orange. So grey goes there, grey goes here, by red goes here. Therefore, by mathematics, that's orange. And now we're going to get the strangenesses happening, aren't we? By which I mean that because we know orange plus grey plus red from this box equals 45, this column contains the same thing. So that becomes red. And that must be orange now, because we know that red plus grey plus orange equals 45. So in this column we prove that double orange plus red is equal to 45, which means that in the first 3 columns we've now proved that orange equals grey, which okay, so sorry, let me just think about this. I'm not immediately seeing how I can relate this to that. I know I can use parity again to say that red is odd, can't I? Because obviously double orange is even this time, and the column is adding up to 45. Right, so this is odd, so that means that this digit has to be odd. Yeah, that's right. If that was even, both of those digits would be odd to be consecutive with an even digit, but the sum total of those 3 digits would then be even, and that doesn't work from this column's logic. So we need the middle digit here to be 5 or 7. So we're either looking at 4s and 6s surrounding it, or we're looking at 6s and 8s surrounding a 7. So it's either 4, 5, 6 in one orientation or the other. Now, come on, Sudoku, help me out here. So either 4, 5, 6 or 6, 7, 8. Okay, so the total here is either 15 or 21. So if that was 21, then we would know that these 2 digits would have to, or these 6 digits would add up to 24 to get us to 45, and therefore orange would equal 12. Orange would equal 12 and grey would equal 12. Well, is there some reason that doesn't work? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. I was wondering about 9. So, because I'm not using 9 there. So, if I need 12, it's going to have to be 9, 1, 2. So the other digits, hang on. So the other digits would be 3, 4, 5, because this would be 6, 7, 8. Okay. So we'd have one of these. If this had a 7 in the middle of it, one of these would be 9, 1, 2, and the other would be 3, 4, 5. And that, unfortunately, seems to work. Bobbins. Okay. And I suspect that making this 4, 5, 6 is going to make everything easier. And the reason I say that, of course, is that 4, 5, and 6 add to 15, which is a very, very middly total because each digit has an average value. So that would tell us that now, if this adds up to 15, obviously those 6 cells add up to 30, which means orange individually adds up to 15, and everything is adding up to 15. All of the stripes individually add up to 15, which I think is... No, that feels like now it doesn't work, because what do you do with the 9? Oh, this is so weird. That doesn't seem to work, and that really is not the way round I was expecting that to be. Because I was thinking about the 15 as like a magic square type thing. You know, you can obviously, some of you will know this already, you can arrange the numbers 1 to 9 in a 3x3 box in a magic square. And, you know, the magic square's total for each row, column and diagonal will be 15. So 15 is a very, very flexible total. Yeah, okay. Okay, but yes, all right, but the 9 is still, yeah, in the magic square you're not barred from using the 4 and the 5 with the 9, whereas here you would be. So yeah, the problem here is that imagine this was 4, 5, 6 and we tried to put a 9 here. Then what would these squares be? They'd have to add up to 6 without using 4 or 5. Well, there's no way of doing it because you can't use double 3 in a Sudoku box. So in fact, 9 is a problem, and this is not 4, 5, 6, it's 7. 7, 9. This is therefore 6 and 8. Let's just pause there. There's a 7 in one of those, and... Well, okay, so now I'm going to come back to thinking about 9, because one of these stripes has to be a 9 with a 1 and a 2. And one of them is a 3, 4, 5 stripe. So which way round is this breaking? Well, one of those squares has to be a 1 now, because we know that because one of those stripes is 1, 2, 9, and there's a 2, 9 pair here, the 1 is going to live in one of those positions. I'm tempted to say this is more problematic with 1, 2, 9. It's definitely going to restrict this dot. 6, 7, and 8. So 21 is the total. 21 is the total for this. Yeah. Okay. Let's actually just think. Let's just coldly think about row 4, column 2. What are its possible values? Given it has to be on a black dot, and given it also has to be part of 3 digits that sum to 21. It can't be a 3 or a 2 or a 1, because if it was a 3, these 2 digits would have to sum to 18, and they'd have to both be 9, and that won't work. So purely from a mathematical perspective, it's at least 4. We know that it can't be 5, 7 or 9, so it's 4, 6 or 8, and this digit is therefore 3, 4, or 2. It can't be 8, so we can't go 4, 8 because that will clash. So that becomes 2, 3 or 4. So maybe I'm changing my mind now, because if that's 3, 4, 5, that becomes... Oh, that's it. That's it. That is it. Okay, brilliant. We've done it. This is not 3, 4, 4, 5. So remember that now we've got 6, 7, 8 here, and we know each of these stripes adds up to 12. One of them is 9, 1, 2. One of them is 3, 4, 5. If we put the 3, 4, 5 here, what's this square? It's got to be 2. And if that's 2, that's got to be 4. And we're going to get 2 4s in the column. That's absolutely gorgeous. This is a lovely, lovely puzzle. So, and we're actually making a little bit of progress with it now. So we can do this. This is an... what can we do up here? We can get rid of 2 here. Does that get rid of 4 from here? Yes. So that becomes 6 or 8. Oh, yes, okay, if that's a 2, this digit could be a 3 in theory, but then it's part of a string that has to add up to 21 again. So that's got to be 9, that's got to be 8, that's got to be 6 now, that's got to be 3, that's got to be 7 by mathematics. So now, oh, we do get red roping. Did we get... Yes, we got blue roping, didn't we? So we do get red roping here. This has got to be 6, 7, 8 by Sudoku. So now we've got complete roping, in the sense that we've got 3, 4, 5 here, must go there. That's got to be a 4, 5 pair. There's a 4 here. So that's 4, that's 5. This has got to be 1, whoopsie, whoopsie, whoopsie. 1, 2, 9. Let's not try and... over whoopsie the world. Right, so we've got 1, 2 and 9 here. Now, have we got Sudoku 5? Yes, we have. We've got 5 and 6 by Sudoku. 6 comes out of that square. 8 comes out of this square. Sorry, a long interruption today. I had a doorbell, and it was a very old friend of mine who I've not seen for a while, who just popped in without telling me. I mean, what am I meant to do? So I left the puzzle, I stopped the video, and I'm back now. But it's about 2 hours after I okay, I've just put this 6, 7 or 8 in. I'm so sorry about this, but I think I felt like we were doing. Oh, we were doing well. Look, I can just fill in that bottom digit. Yeah, that looks fair enough, doesn't it? 3 here, it's giving me a 3 here. I'm going to have to trust a bit to my pencil marks to try and see if we can just finish the puzzle off quickly. Look, 1, 2 pair there. We've got a 4 here, and I can still remember. Oh, 3 here. I think this might actually be done now. We've got 3, 9. Here we go. Here we go. So maybe I should have just left him at the door. 9 here, 1, 2 pair. Okay, we've got 1, 2 pair there, 1, 2 pair there. That square's got to be a 7 or an 8 by Sudoku, I think. And we can we tidy up anything? We can get rid of a 2 from this square. We can get rid of it. Oh, we can get, well, I was about to say we can get rid of an 8 from this square, but we can also get rid of an 8 from that square. So that gives us 9, 8. By mathematics, that's 1. That's doing our 1s and 2s. 1s and 2s, here we go. Come on, that was going very well for a moment or two. 1 in the middle box now looks to me like it's only got one place where it can live, and 9 in this box is forced to be down here now. Get rid of 9 from there. We can get rid of 7 from here. We can get rid of 6 from here. I've got a 5, 8 pair there, which is somehow materialized. The 9 gives me a 1 over on this side as well. 2, 9 is apparently not resolved. What about... Can I... now, can this... No, it can. So making this a 9 hasn't actually resolved this little congregation of digits. Those two digits have to add up to 6. I can see that, but they seem to have two ways they might decide to organise themselves to achieve that. What about... Oh, 8 there gives me a 7 here by Sudoku. 7, 8... That 7's given me a 6 over here, so 6, 7. That digit I should be able to get. That's got to be a 5. That digit's a 2 or an 8. We've not put 2, 6 and 8 into the top box, look, so that's 2 or 6. That's 2, 6 or 8, I want to say. And we can... right, now, come on. We must be nearly done. Oh no, we're gonna go. I can't get stuck here, surely. It felt like it was just collapsing a moment or two ago. That's not a 3. 7 is in one of... Oh, 7. That 7 is plonking a 7 over here now. So we've got all of the odd digits in column 6. We've not put in any even digits. So that digit's got to be 4, 6 or 8. And that digit's got to be... Oh, the same, 4, 6 or 8. Oh, that's that doesn't seem to do it. We've got... How weird. All right, let's try something else. What about... Desperately scanning across these cells. That's got to not be a 2. These... Is there some reason that I can't do those? There's probably many reasons. What about... 3, that's not a 3, is it? 4, I've got a 4, 5 pair in row 8, so that's not 4, that's not 5. I've now got a 6, 8 pair in row 8. Still don't think I know where the even digits go in this column. What about, that's nearly a triple in this column. Is it little old Sudoku? Let's double click things and see if we can get anything from that. We can... No, hang on. 9s, can we do all on? Have we got all on? No, we haven't got all our 9s. We've still got a little X-wing of 9s left in rows 4 and 5. 8s, I felt like I got quite a few 8s a moment or two ago. I still don't know which orientation this 6, 7, 8 triple is in apparently. But I do know that's an 8 and that's a 5. That's it. Look, this is doing it. So now we get a 7 there and a 2 there by maths. I get a 6, 8 pair in this column, so that's got to be a 4, that's got to be a 4, that's got to be a 1, that's got to be 5, 4, 3, and that's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. Very, very cool. Well, I know, no. I mean, I am fully aware I am not cool, but that to me is something that makes me think that things are cool in the world, so you'll have to forgive me for that. 1 and 2 go into the grid. That seems to give me a 6 at the top, an 8, a 2, that's a 5. Hang on, I should be able to get that digit. 8, 6, 8, 6, 8, 6, 5 in the corner down here. By maths, we worked out they had to add up to 6, so we could have got that a few moments ago. And we can get rid of a 2 from here. So we get a 3, 4 pair over on this side. What else can we do? We must be able to do this middle bit now. 2 here, 9 here. 3, 7, 9. And this square is... That square is a 5. That square is a 3. That's a 4. That's a 4. And that's a 3. And that's how to finish the puzzle. So it really didn't take very long once we got started again. And it was a beautiful puzzle, and I can remember what the clever pieces of this puzzle were, even though I have been sidetracked during the solve. The really, really beautiful thing to me was over on this side. It was these dots, wasn't it? And proving it's a really strange pattern that exists on these region sum lines, but you can do maths and work out the parity of this, and that was absolutely lovely. And it did work the same way on this side. Yes, we worked out that cell had to be odd, didn't we? And it was very clever as well, and very weird to me that this couldn't be 4, 5, 6. That was surprising. And then, yeah, because it did not feel like the 9 ought to be restricted in that circumstance, and yet it was. And the selection actually of those 2 dots in this column was very cunning, in order to tell us which way round the 3, 4, 5 and the 9, 1, 2 work. That was gorgeous, wasn't it, with this top black dot doing the damage. So it's a quality puzzle. Turquoise by Bellsita. Bellsita, take a bow. I really enjoyed that. I'll be looking out for your name again. And I hope you enjoyed the puzzle too. I hope you had a go. Let me know in the comments. I do enjoy the comments, especially when they're kind. And we'll be back later with another edition of Cracking the Cryptic.